Hey there, welcome. It's Christina Johnson here, and I want to talk today about a simple mindset shift that you can make so that you feel less deprived when you're trying to eat healthy. Because I don't know about you, but has this ever happened where you are ready to start making changes, you're ready to start eating healthier, and then you think about all of the things that you're going to have to give up or avoid or not eat as often? So maybe you start thinking about cutting back on the sweets and the ice cream and the chips, or maybe the chocolate, or maybe it's soda or bread. And you start thinking about all these things that you're going to have to give up or stay away from. And you can kind of start to feel a little discouraged, or maybe just feel overwhelmed, or like just kind of sad. I mean, honestly, for some people, it does bring up feelings of just being sad that you can't eat those things anymore. Or you start thinking about, all the things you do with your family, enjoying ice cream as a family or other treats and not being able to participate. And we start to focus on that, and it can feel discouraging. And honestly, for some people, it can make them kind of not even motivated to want to get started. And so I'm just curious, first of all, if you can relate to this at all. Put a 1 in the comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay, and let me know if you can relate to that, where you're ready to start eating healthy, but you're thinking about all the things that you're gonna have to give up, and it makes it hard, like to even want to start. So let me know if you can relate to that. And I can tell you that as a health coach and as someone who has been eating clean for well over a decade now, I have done a lot of work, a lot of mindset work myself personally, so that in all honesty, I really don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything anymore. And I will tell you, there was a time where I used to drink soda like almost daily. And this was a while ago, but I have not had a soda I've maybe had one in the past 10 years, and I don't feel like I'm missing out. I used to love bread and bagels. Bagels were definitely my thing. I loved the Panera bagels. I loved like English muffins, things like that. I think maybe I have like gluten-free bread probably once a year, and I don't miss it. I don't crave it. I don't really even want it anymore. And that didn't just happen overnight, but it definitely has been a result of the mindset work that I've done and just how I think about food, my relationship with food, and just how I view how I'm fueling my body. And so in all honesty, I've gotten to that point where I don't miss those things anymore. And I know that it's a result of this mindset work. And so obviously there's a lot that goes into it, but there's one thing in particular that I wanted to share with you today that I think really can make a big difference when it comes to not feeling deprived when you're trying to eat healthy. So I'm going to share that with you. If we haven't met yet, I'm Christina Johnson. I'm a transformational nutrition coach and founder of the Emerge Weight Loss Method. So I specialize in helping women create a clean and mindful eating lifestyle so that you can heal your relationship with food, so that you can lose weight in a really sustainable way. So let's just jump right in. So the mindset shift that I want to share with you today is that when you're trying to eat healthier, don't focus on what you're going to have to give up or the food that you're going to have to stay away from, because that's what tends to drag us down. And so one of the reasons I thought about this was a few days ago, I was talking with one of my clients who has noticed or is suspecting that gluten might be triggering just some symptoms, causing her to not feel really good. And so we were talking about the possibility of staying away from gluten for, 4, 5, 6 weeks to see if she starts to feel better. And as we were talking about that, she admitted, like a lot of people do, that she kind of felt a little hesitant. It felt hard to give up bread or tortillas or, things like that have gluten in it. And so, it was hard to want to make that decision. And the more we talked about it, and we talked about it from a different angle, it started to feel easier and more possible to her. And so here's the thing, when you're focused on giving up a food, whether it's bread or sugar or chocolate or soda or anything, In all honesty, when you remove that food from your life, it's like it leaves a hole. There's something missing. I mean, there's this food that you were eating or drinking often that made you happy. Or maybe it was just comforting. Maybe it was something you looked forward to, something that helped alleviate stress. But whatever it is, that food played a role in your life. And when we just remove it, then it does. There's like legitimately something missing that you've been relying on or looking forward to regularly. And so the problem is if we just focus on, okay, now we have this void, if we don't fill it with something else, and if it stays empty, then it's going to just keep feeling like something's missing, and we're going to keep feeling drawn to that thing that filled it for us. So we're just going to be drawn back to the chocolate, the bread, the soda. And so we don't want to leave that void empty. We want to fill it with something that makes us happy, something we can look forward to, something that brings us that joy or that comfort or that stress relief. And when you can replace it with something else, then all of a sudden it's so much easier to not need whatever that thing is that you're trying to give up. So is this making sense? I hope so. Just put it in the comments if you're tracking with me and if this makes sense so far. And so really, I find that there's two common paths that you can take to try and fill that void. So the first option, and this is where we start. So with my clients in the Emerge Weight Loss Program, typically at the beginning of the program, we choose the first option, which is just finding healthier alternatives. So for example, with the woman that's going to give up gluten for a month or so, you know, she felt like it was going to be hard to give up bread and buns and those kinds of things. So we talked about, well, what are some other healthier carbs that you would enjoy? And she mentioned that she loves sweet potatoes, but hasn't really, been eating a lot of them because they're higher in carbs. But they're a much better option than bread. So, what if she added in sweet potatoes? And I can tell you, like roasted sweet potatoes with cinnamon and coconut oil, they're delicious. So what if you add that in? Or what if you make French fries and bake them in the oven? They're really, really good, and they can fill part of that carb craving. Or if it's really a bun you're wanting, what are some healthier bun alternatives? Can you take a big portobello mushroom and saute that and use that as a bun? Could you make a bun out of like sweet potatoes or zucchini or plantains? There's all kinds of recipes for that. Or maybe it's just using a lettuce wrap and then putting a lot of really good toppings on a hamburger, like sauteed onions and mushrooms and avocado. And so that's kind of the first path. Instead of focusing on, oh, I can't have bread anymore, I can't have sugar anymore, I can't have soda anymore, let's find a healthier option so that we fill that void that I talked about. So that's option number one. And I think that's a really good place to start. Find those healthy options, because I can tell you that eating clean should taste really good. You should be able to find food that you enjoy, that is satisfying, that has good flavor. And so that's where we want to start. Start by looking for food that can fill that for you. But then the second piece of it, and this is where usually like towards the second half of the Emerge program, we start to dig a little deeper, because honestly, we don't want the majority of our joy, our comfort, our stress relief, our fun, our excitement, we don't necessarily want that to always come from food. So if you have this void that's being left because you removed bread or soda or sugar, is there something else not related to food that can fill it? So, and this takes a little bit of work and some processing, but for example, if like, let's say you go to chips or salty snacks when you're feeling stressed or anxious, is there something else that you can do without food that helps relieve the stress or the anxiety? Or if maybe you really enjoy the time together with your family going out for ice cream or going out to restaurants. Is there another fun family activity you could do that doesn't have anything to do with food? Is it maybe going to a park or, finding a fun activity, whatever that might be? And so that's really kind of the two options. Step one is figuring out healthier alternatives to those foods you're missing out on that you enjoy. But step two is really figuring out what are some other ways to fill that void that is left from those foods with things that aren't food related so that you still get the joy, the excitement, the comfort, the fun, all the things that food can bring, but can we find it from something other than food? So I hope that makes sense. Let me know. I'd love to hear what is one of your takeaways from this topic. So put that in the comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay. I would love to hear what your takeaway is. And then, my challenge to you would be to try this out. So if there's a particular food that you are wanting to reduce or to avoid, to cut out for health reasons, then can you find a healthier substitute? And if you need help with that, put it in the comments. I can give you, a couple ideas. And then also, if you are ready to create a healthier lifestyle and a better relationship with food so that you can lose weight in a really sustainable, really healthy way, then that's what we go in depth in the Emerge weight loss program. So if you want to learn more about that, figure out if it would be a good fit for you and if it would help you reach your goals, then I'd love to find a time to chat with you. So you can book a complimentary consultation where, you'll get my eyes on your situation. We'll look at what your goals are, what's stopping you from reaching them, and I will be able to help you figure out the path forward. And if I feel like I can help you, then I can share what that would look like, answer any questions that you have, and go from there in a really no pressure way. So if you're interested in finding a time to talk, then I will put a link in the comments where you can book that call, but it'll be ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/apply. I look forward to talking to you soon. So thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments and we will talk again soon. Bye.